Assalamu alaikum everyone. In this video I am going to discuss with a question from English Masters final year. The question is discuss after Three Without Roots the character of Mojid. Mojid, the protagonist of the novel Three Without Roots by Sayyid Waliullah, is a rounded character who undergoes changes in the course of the play. Mojid, who is a rootless, financially helpless and religiously corrupted person at the beginning of the novel, turns into a socially, economically strong and deeply rooted religious guru at the end of the novel. At the beginning, he introduces himself as a savior of the people of Mohabbatpur and earns their faith. Gradually, he becomes the sole proprietor to guide them to the spiritual salvation. He also gains material possession by selling religious faith and becomes rich within a few years. He also fulfills his carnal desire by marrying twice. By the end of the novel, Mojid appears socially, economically, and religiously very strong. But Mojid remains very much lonely from the beginning of the novel. He also suffers from sense of insecurity throughout the novel. Mojid, a poor man from a devout Muslim background, comes to Mohabbatpur. He declares an old grave to be the Mazar of the Pir, covers it with the traditional red cloth for Muslims, and establishes a strong hold on life of the people, reflected power on him and supported saint. Through his charismatic behavior, Mojid quickly established himself as a spiritual guide of the people who are illiterate and hold a blind religious faith. Like a parody of the Prophet Mojid, the middle-aged protagonist of the trio without roots, exiled in Mohabbatpur, pretends to the bearer of the light to show the rustic illiterate non-believer inhabitant on the right path. However, Mojid has actually migrated to Mohabbatpur, fleeting draft, famine and poverty, driven by sheer need to survive and hereafter seeking a better life. Mojid, wholly confident of the bliss people, like the villagers, the readers are also enchanted by Mojid's storytelling genius and by his ability to understand other people's psyche. Mojid represents the patriarchal power of the Bengali Muslim society of the 20th century. Using his religious rule with the aid from the patriarchal superstructure, he is able to create patriarchal hegemony in Mohabbatpur. After settlement, Mojid marries twice. First, Rohima, the widow who is the white-hipped, strong and beautiful. Then Jamila, the young, lively and curious one. His jealousy of Khalek loving relationship with the first wife, Amena, leads him to devise and the unsolicited fatwa of Amena's having able to coil in his belly with a view to proving her unchaste and thus worked his divorce between two. Again, the modern man Mojid is lonely. In existential philosophy, the individual realizes his aloneness, and despite having wives and powerful landowner as a friend, Mojid is very lonely indeed. However, he cannot share his secret with anyone, not even with his wife. To fight back from the obvious loneliness, Mojid looks forward to strengthening his social security by imposing certain code of conduct for the villagers as their religious and spiritual guide. Yet his second wife Jamila seriously challenges this order and intimidate Mojid so much so that she is physically gagged and left to die. However, even in the death, she threatened Mojid to authority to feet of her dead body were poisoned, desecrating the sectum of the sectorium of Mojid place of worship.